Well, good morning, everybody. Breaking news by one corrupt and filthy Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau. Lowlife, degenerate, scumbag. Liberals never amaze me to be the most inhumane, despicable, and disgusting human beings. We've been at work on a 3-year journey, a 5-year for myself, a promise made to the Treaty Indians of Alberta specifically, and all Métis. Whether we win, lose, or draw, we took this journey across Canada because when I ran an election in 2019, in majority, most of the chiefs of Alberta stated they wanted to settle all of Canada for all the First Peoples. Most were down with that, so that is what I went forward with. That's what I've been doing, going right across Canada. In that journey, folks, and this is for all Canadians too, contrary to popular belief, you don't really have any cemented property rights, none whatsoever. Just like the natives of Canada, the First Peoples, the government can come, uproot you, move you, remove you from your property. Any Canadian, they've done it all kinds of times. Municipalities grow, federal government or provincial government, depending on which lands are in question. Often it's through the federal government, but done by the provincial government. Wet'suwet'en, I've had Wet'suwet'en reach out to me, messaging me. We're not there yet. We are going to get there, but there's a whole series of work. Literally thousands of chiefs elected or hereditary, doesn't matter. We will be getting to everybody in due course. But this month, right now, in Canada history, I am literally battling the Prime Minister of Canada with the team tagged in this video that I want to watch today, because these brave First Peoples right here in Canada, Treaty Indians, ceded, Arctic overlap, Métis, they're working hard for all Canadians and absolutely all First Peoples. And our criminal, literally criminal Prime Minister is going around to every chief we've contacted, flagrantly and through absolute propaganda, putting the fear in the chiefs over China, the radical China who's threatening Canada over the Asia Pacific. Canada has no business in those airspaces. Canada's a mosquito. Our Canadian Armed Forces, a mosquito. You don't run against a country who has more fighter planes and pilots, higher technology than Canada could ever muster, a lot larger than all of Canada's military combined personnel, just in fighter pilots. And Canada thinks, Justin Trudeau thinks, he can go fly around in those airspaces in the Asian world and not be met by China, who gives you the middle finger. They got recordings, you guys. I've got it from China, where they're giving Trudeau's pilots the finger. They could blow him away right out of the sky. They go buzzing by him, telling him, piss off. China is not what it once was through the Commonwealth, through absolute exploitation. They are a second world country, growing stronger and stronger. If you don't like that, Canadians, pick up your average, everyday consumer products. This cable, this box, this. I can go through literally my entire vehicle right now, and 99% of everything in this vehicle made in China. Absolute, complete manufacturing. Complete. And China's an enemy? They went through this manufacturing war, this economic war, propagated by the government and absolutely all of their loyalists, and I mean loyalist of the loyal, absolute oligarchs who didn't want your labor, Canadians and First Peoples alike, didn't want nothing to do with any of you, decided to move their manufacturing bases overseas, specifically in the Asian world, for cheap labor. They've even exploited North America. My truck, the body, the shell, manufactured in Mexico, not meant for any Canadian winters, none whatsoever. A life expectancy like most people's vehicles, 5 years tops. And they want to tell you, get into an electrical world, not possible in Canada. Complete, utter corruption of your government. We're all seeing it, inflation. They can blame Russia. They can blame China. Trudeau, out of fear, with taxpayer slaved debt, goes running to every chief with reportable bodies, every chief that we've contacted in this absolute awesome works in real truth of residential school genocide. We went across to all of them, and we're still battling it out all this month to deliver for, yes, China, who sponsored the First Peoples for the first time in world history on the world stage, UNSCP 5. Canada listed with the worst human rights atrocity-driven countries in the world. We're sponsored there. Chiefs need to report. Now there's 14 folks. 14 with recorded bodies in ground penetrating radar, which is law in international law. That's world binding law, meaning they will take that incredible reality and they will move on in binding resolutions, just like they have for many, many other countries. It is down to these chiefs. It's not the end all and be all, folks. It's over 2,000 bodies of children that the Canadian government murdered through their non-profit civil societies. They hired their employees. Catholic Church is there, United Church is there, Church of England and its division with United Church is there. But folks, hired by the Canadian government. And what's worse, post-1949 and absolutely from 1952 onward, heinous crimes your government politicians, many alive and well today, are guilty of on that stage. China has sponsored it. China's done with Canada. Canada in its colonial roots, in its design and its system, has done atrocities against the Chinese people, not unlike what they did to the First Peoples right here in Canada. You would be crazy as any chief or any chief going forward. We target these 14 in this first phase because we need it reported to keep it alive. It had to be done in South Africa. South Africa started this process, and it saw absolute reform of that country. The power restored to the people, the government voided, the elections voided, their whole system voided. They got an imposed constitution for and by the people, done by the Soviet USSR and communist Beijing China. Absolutely. Canada crapped their pants. They started crapping in 1984 at 1514 resolution, binding by the UNSCP 5. Canada changed its entire criminal code. Go look it up right now, Loosen Holes, any government website. You'll see that Canada revamped its entire criminal code in 1985. 1994, South Africa got an imposed constitution, voided all the political parties, the exact same political parties that are in Canada today, exact same colonial system, All of them wiped out, from Labour, Liberal, Conservative, all of them wiped out, a new system imposed, elections voided, 8 years of it, meaning all those politicians gone. Now Trudeau's trying to trick all these chiefs that we've been working with, that we gave a tremendous presentation. We have a video from China that was given to all the Chinese people, over 1 billion citizens. Just in that news release, over 360 million Chinese have watched it. The chiefs need to watch it. They've sponsored you, and they want to know the truth. They think, like the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, it's 4,000. Like these 14 chiefs, you're learning very fast. It's 4,000. You're learning very fast. It's tremendously more than that when you start factoring in the radical tuberculosis numbers. Radical tuberculosis numbers that shouldn't be after 1952. Canadian government dead to rights. Murderous, genocidal, absolute cultural, physical, and absolute genocide of a peoples. In all respects, the most heinous crime that can be committed in the world post 1945. In Canada, all the way up to 1997, absolutely. Beyond that, they transferred into the provincial hands. I'm going to tell you about unceded Indians, folks. Unceded Indians. This is specific to Ontario, Quebec, British Columbia. Unceded means that Canada has declared war on those Indian people. War. People sending me videos. Elders. Women elders saying she's being harassed. She's got videos. She sent them to me. I watched them all this morning. And I said, ma'am, you're at perpetual state of war. Unceded means you didn't settle the claims, meaning Canada has declared war on you and your peoples, and they're a sneaky style colonial Nazi. They harass you, they fly planes over, they raid your homes, your setups there. They take your people, throw them in prison, lock them away, remove all their rights. It's called war. Like they're claiming Russia and Ukraine are at war, it's an invasion. That's been Canada on all unceded lands since 1867. They do it slowly, methodically. They keep the bar of genocide below anything the international community could ever register or understand. But make no mistakes, Canada declared war a very long time ago and has never left that. To put it in perspective, the United States of America ended all Indian wars in 1924. There's no such thing as an unceded Indian in the United States of America. There's no declaration of war, and in fact, all the American Indians today have absolute sovereignty, self-determination, and self-government. In fact, they have their own entire federal ministry. They have massive lands back. Massive. A massive size state made up of all the states with the federal division of powers in their hands. In perspective, no Treaty Indian, no Métis, and absolutely no Inuit has real sovereignty, none whatsoever. Alberta Métis have about the best deal in Canada. Why was that done? So that Alberta could take more lands for themselves, specifically the Alberta government of the time. Wealthy oligarchs at the expense of the Treaty Indians. Now BC, Ontario, Quebec, constant state of war against every single hereditary chief on any and all unceded lands, which is a massive amount. Now, they tried to hide it. In Canadian history, as Americans and academics are learning, folks, there was a time called the Northwest Rebellion when we were a Northwest Territory, massive in size, the former Hudson's Bay, most of Ontario today, most of Quebec today was all part of that. Those folks lost, those Indians, those farmers, that provincial government, which what is now in the province of Saskatchewan, was obliterated. It's celebrated in Toronto. You can go to Queen's Park, where they celebrate hanging all the farmers and hanging all the Indians. The brave and mighty military police who came in on a train after throwing everybody off their lands, including reserve Indians, and then popping them off, hanging them by the neck till they be dead. That's what they did. And folks, people have no idea what the government's doing right now. Trudeau putting the fear of God into all of these 14 chiefs. For my team tagged here, and I'm sorry to do that, guys. It's critical. We need support now. You're going to have a tough time with your phone calls. Canada, Trudeau personally is going around to all of them, telling them how China could destroy Canada. China's evil. Justin Trudeau and his colonial predecessors poisoned all the Chinese. And if they're so bad, why is everything made? Your phones, your clothes, your products, everything, nearly 90% of what you have is from China. Why? If that was the case, who's the bad guy here? It's your corrupt, filthy politicians who are out there putting the fear of God into chiefs. Now, you all have a call list to do over the next 3 days. We're going to give them the Zoom. After, we're going to show all Canadians again exactly what China's sponsored and what's been done in this world by even those communist states who never imposed any communism on any of those freed by their resolutions. Resolutions even the United States came to honor and came to follow through with. U.S. is not the bad guy here. There's some bad guys, and it's sad that some of the American government's been corrupted by it. Lunatic presidents who think they're going to be gods over men, and Americans are waking up to it. We'll see, folks. That's my video. Get it out there. Share, share, share. It's a small group of brave First Peoples literally battling Justin Trudeau, the piece of shit, the baby who can't even man up and stand up with truth, out there murdering Indians, as many as he can, harassing them. And then now China gives it to Canada. China would wipe Canada out in literally a day if China wanted to. They could have for more than 10 years. That's my video. Share, share, share. Bye now.